watching Mental Health Mondays. I'm your host, Chuck Bastie, and we are here with a very, very special guest of mine. His name is Mark Funk Roberts. He's a body transformation coach, and he is a YouTube phenom. Check him out at Funk Roberts on YouTube. And I've known Funk Roberts for about 30 years now. And he has an amazing story, and we're going to tackle mental health wellness, and we're going to talk about physical wellness and its correlation with mental health wellness. And we're going to do that right now as we bring up Mark Funk Roberts as our guest. And there he is.
What's going on?
There's the Funkster. So how you doing, Mark Roberts?
I'm great, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I just want to start off the show by telling everyone in our TV land here, it's Mark's 52nd birthday today. So we're going to wish him a very, very happy birthday and throw you all the greetings and accolations.
Nice. Thank you. I appreciate that. And you can call me Funk, by the way, because the world knows me as Funk. So I don't want to get them mixed up. Who's Mark? I thought we were talking to Funk. So yeah.
All the Funk great. And the Funksters in the house. Welcome to the show. We're going to get into some really fun stuff. Before we get there, we just want to basically have my nation of people who doesn't know who Funk Roberts is. And we're just going to walk them down that path of your story, which is a fantastic story. I will preamble this that you and I met about 30 years ago when we were playing court volleyball. I was at Sheridan College in Humber. And then we transitioned to the beach game where you were a professional beach volleyball player. And probably, I will say, the most entertaining and charismatic player that I've actually ever seen in any sport. So we'll throw that out there for hockey, for basketball, baseball, football. It does not matter the sport. On the beach volleyball court, you would never find a more entertaining character than Funk Roberts on the sand.
Thank you, man. That's
so
awesome.
Talk to us a little bit about your journey from the beach volleyball game to being a professional athlete. Walk us through your story.
Yeah, so thanks so much again for having me on the show. I really appreciate it and excited to talk about, the mental health and fitness. And for me, like Chuck mentioned, I was a professional athlete. I played indoor volleyball and beach volleyball. And, I did that for about 15 years, traveled all over the world and played at the highest level. And then when I reached about 30, I decided to retire. And so, of course, when you reach a specific age, you have kids. Well, then I started to, I had kids and 9-to-5 job and what goes along with that. But I always really enjoyed fitness. I was always enjoyed fitness and training people. And then when I reached 40, I couldn't lose any more weight. I was struggling with depression. My girlfriend at the time left me and I didn't know what was happening, specifically because I was still posting videos on YouTube and showing everyone that I'm this fitness guy, but I was suffering and not knowing why I couldn't lose weight. I was 215 pounds. I was big and puffy. And, like I said, I was really in a depressed state of mind because I didn't know what was happening to my body. And I realized after going to the doctor and getting blood tests, it was my testosterone levels. My testosterone levels were naturally decreasing, which they do. Testosterone in males naturally decrease 1% to 2% every single year. So by the time we're 40, it's we're down. And plus, when you reach 40, there's a whole host of things that happen to you in regards to, your metabolism and your health. And it's harder to lose weight. It's harder to build muscle. And of course, our testosterone levels are low. And so I decided I had to shift gears and really research on what type of things does a man over 40 have to do in order to lose weight, to boost testosterone naturally, et cetera. And long story short, to fast forward, I found the answer. And, I completely transformed my body in 6 months. And then, fast forward 8 years later, I created the Over 40 Alpha Brotherhood, which is a program specifically designed for men over 40, 50, 60, 70, even in the 30s now, to help them, get into the best shape of their life using some of the things we're going to talk about today.
Very well said. And I will preamble this by saying back in the day, I don't know anybody who read more information on health and wellness than what you had. You had like boxes of health and wellness or health and fitness magazines that you got all that information. So you were really a pioneer of doing your due diligence. And so like you learning now of your testosterone levels, what did you really learn that you didn't know before that we as men are talked about, our low depression, testosterone levels, which leads to depression, creates anxiety, all these things that we think are misdiagnosed. And we just think, I don't know what it is, but I just don't feel right. I don't feel like myself. Where did you learn about that?
Yeah, exactly what you said, Chuck. You could have said it any better. Understanding what testosterone does for us. Testosterone is our number one male hormone. That means that it drives everything for us: fat loss, weight loss, metabolism, our energy levels, of course, our libido, the ability to build muscle, health, and of course, depression, right? And anxiety. When our testosterone levels are low, that's our number one male hormone. And generally speaking, when our T levels are low, cortisol levels and estrogen are generally high. Estrogen is a female hormone. We need a bit of it, but too much causes, belly fat storage, the man boobs. It's a female hormone, and cortisol is a stress hormone. We do need a little bit, and we do need it in some places, but we don't need it all the time, and that's blocking testosterone. So truly, at the age of 40, when we're naturally increasing our testosterone, guess what? We're able to lose weight. We're able to burn fat. We have that energy. We aren't as we have more confidence. Our libido is flying through the air, and we feel like the man that we're supposed to be. We feel like the man that we put on this earth, and so that's one of the things that men don't realize. They think it's just I got to lose belly fat, or they think it's just I got to lose weight. But what they don't realize is when you address testosterone naturally, the byproduct is everything else. The byproduct is weight loss. The byproduct is you feeling better. The byproduct is you having confidence, and that's what most men don't realize when it comes to testosterone.
There's a ton of comments that are coming in on the right hand side here as well. So what I wanted to try and do is open up the forum. If you have any questions for Funk in your own personal life that he can answer, we'll do our best to get up to all these questions on the sideline as well. If you're following us on YouTube live as well, you can do the exact same thing, and we'll try to get as many questions as we possibly can. So Funk, I want to ask you in your personal journey, when you first started that, when you said earlier on today that you felt puffy and big and like a little bloated. So what was your personal takeaways after you implemented what you now know is your over 40 shred program that you offer to men over 40 to get the best health and fitness of their lives? What was your epiphany moments that you could share with us, that some people out there that are watching right now that are identifying with what you're talking about, who have never heard this before in their entire lives and like, oh my God, that sounds exactly like me. What are the takeaways and the value that you have now that they would be able to get to as well, following your program?
Yeah, again, great question. So for me, when I didn't know what was happening to my body, right? So here's Funk Roberts, who's posting workouts on YouTube, telling everyone, hey, this is what you do to work out, bro split workouts, buys and tries, back and shoulders, these type of diets. And here I am in the back end struggling, puffy, and not knowing what's happening. When my girlfriend literally left me because I couldn't satisfy her in the bed. Like that's a huge kill for someone like me, so for any man. And so what I started to do was I started to self-medicate. I started to drink. I started to party. I started to do drugs because I thought that that's what was going to make me feel better. That's what was going to make me feel more manly. And in fact, it was the testosterone. And so after struggling and thinking, okay, maybe I have to work out more, or maybe I have to cut out my carbs, or maybe I have to do this, and realizing that, again, after getting my testosterone levels checked and knowing that now they are low, and not believing it at first, because here is a big 215-pound guy. How could my testosterone levels be low? But they were low. And then all of the research that I started to see was, hey, you can't work out the same way. We've got to do different types of workouts. You can't eat the same. We've got to eat a more testosterone-based diet where you're eating a balanced plate of starchy carbs, healthy fats, protein, vegetables. We've got to respect recovery more. We can't be working out 5-6 days a week. 3 to 4 days, that's it, with recovery in between. We need to focus on sleep, 7 to 9 hours sleep. That's the golden era, a golden time for testosterone to produce. Testosterone production happens in the morning. So we have to get good, solid, stage 3 sleep, right? Because that's when testosterone gets produced, right in the morning. We got to eat foods that have cholesterol, because cholesterol is a precursor. So when I learned all of that and I look back, I'm like, wow, all I had to do was really just shift my lifestyle. And from shifting my lifestyle, my testosterone levels went from a low 190 to 5, 6, 7, 8, 900. And so, and realizing that was a huge epiphany, because I realized, okay, I don't have to do TRT. All I have to do is just change up my lifestyle.
I mean, there's so many comments going on right now that I'm overwhelmed, because we've never had, these many comments ever on the show before.
Yeah.
Want to ask you about your thyroid. So
Yeah.
one of the questions we have is, did you get your thyroid checked? Because I guess a lot of people, when they have low testosterone levels, they actually dictate that as their thyroid being inactive.
Nothing.
So can you speak to that?
Totally. Nothing to do with your thyroid. In fact, what is happening when your thyroid? So one of the main macronutrients for your thyroid is carbs, healthy, complex carbs. And what happens when we get to a point where we think, I got to lose weight? What's the first thing that we stop eating? Carbs. Oh, I was told not to eat carbs. Oh, my blood is spike my blood sugar. Oh, I'm pre-diabetic. I can't eat carbs. Oh, someone told me not to eat carbs. When in fact you need to eat carbs, because carbs are energy. But the thyroid and the carbs will dictate your thyroid. Your thyroid is your metabolism, right? So when you eat carbs 3 times a day with all of your meals, you are now feeding that thyroid. You are now feeding your metabolism. So now your thyroid's like, okay, I've got what I need to rev me up throughout the day, so I can start burning fat. And if you're eating 3 times a day, you're not starving your body of the macronutrients it needs. Because what also happens when you don't eat starchy carbs, what happens is your body goes, oh, okay, Barry's not going to eat carbs. All right, Barry, what I'm going to do is, you're not giving me the energy, the glycogen, the what I need for my thyroid to start to kickstart. So I'm going to slow down my body. I'm going to slow down the metabolism. I'm going to go into starvation mode. I'm going to go into survival mode. And what does that mean? Your body gets slow. Your metabolism slows down. And because you're not giving your body carbs, your body holds on to fat, thinking, okay, Barry, guess what? I got to hold on to this fat, because I don't know when you're going to give me carbs. And then the protein that you're eating will be used as energy. You never want protein to be used as energy. Protein is the building blocks of our muscles, our bones, and the metabolic processes that go on in our body. So we need the protein to be delivered to the places that we need. So once you start implementing the starchy carbs 3 times a day, good complex carbs, right? Complex carbs, the sweet potatoes, the quinoa, the rice, the steel cut oats, then what you're doing is you are feeding your testosterone. You're feeding your thyroid, so that you can start to become more metabolic, for sure.
And here's your website. Obviously, it's the Over 40 Strait program.
Yeah, it's an old one.
What we wanted to do is, we wanted to ask you what the benefits of mentally. Like what, I mean, obviously when you're puffy, you're cloudy, you have a little lack of awareness. What is more of your benefits of the healthy living, the healthy eating, that, now that you've transformed your body and showing people how to do this in their lives, that they now will get from that experience?
Yeah, so a lot of the men who come into my program, we have over 7,500 men who are doing the program live, like today, not just have done it, continue to do it in our brotherhood. Men in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, completely transforming their lives. But when they come in, they're struggling, man. They're struggling. They're struggling physically. They're struggling mentally. They're struggling emotionally, and a lot of times they're in a depressed state where they just don't know what to do, and that depression. That depression, specifically during the COVID times, that doubled and tripled and was really macroed out. It really became a big problem. So one of the biggest things right now in the world is that men in their 40s plus, we are the second when it comes to the age groups. Men over 40, they're the second biggest to have more depression, and the suicide rates are extremely high, because there's just a what do? I don't know what to do, and it's very troubling. But a lot of that, I mean, there's a lot of different factors, but your testosterone levels have a lot to do with that. The low testosterone has a lot to do. A lot of studies show that testosterone has a correlation to depression and anxiety and the things that lead you down that road. And right now in the world, we have the lowest testosterone levels in men ever, in modern day history. So like your grandfather had more testosterone than you did back in the day. It's incredible because there's so much information out there. There's so much health and medical and online information that it blows me away that our testosterone levels across the board are the lowest they've ever been. And it doesn't, it's not surprising that there's a lot more suicide, a lot more depression. So when these guys come in and they start changing their lifestyle, and when they first come in, it's all about weight loss and fat loss. And when they are in there, that's when I start to teach them more about testosterone and what really you need to focus on. And one of the markers that we have in the program is people, they have to go get their testosterone levels checked, because I want them to see how doing this program and changing their lifestyle affects their testosterone levels naturally. So day in and day out, every day, someone's posting, hey, just got my testosterone levels checked again. I'm up 300 points. I'm up 400 points. Guys in their 60s, I'm up 200 points, etc. It doesn't matter how old you are. You can actually increase your T levels, but it's the lifestyle. It's the foods that you eat and you stay away from. It's the type of workouts you're doing now. Now they're only 30-minute metabolic workouts, joint friendly. You do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Maybe you throw one in on Saturday if you want. The recovery and the sleep that we really focus on. And then, of course, it's the mindset, right? What is that mindset? Why do you really want to lose weight, or why do you really want to get in shape? That will help you throughout the process in your journey, with increasing testosterone, but also depression. And I can talk a little bit more about that depression stuff too, because that's key.
Yeah, well, you brought up a really good point about where we are in COVID right now, and obviously, your brotherhood actually gives men a forum to come into. I've been in your calls on Sundays, and they're massive. And the energy levels are all there. You pick a topic that you walk through every single week, and you've got engagement from your funksters that are watching you through this as well. I wanted to ask you to speak to, obviously, this has been a year that we've been in lockdown for COVID. We're currently in lockdown 3.0 in Ontario here. But what are you finding with your forums of what the guys, because let's be honest, we as men, we're not really vulnerable beings. We don't really share openly. We've never been taught to share. You're a very open book, a very vulnerable character, and you make it safe for people to be able to actually come to you and say, this is what I'm dealing with, because you share from your place of vulnerability. You share what you've went through, what your experiences were. You went down that path, that dark path as well that you mentioned, of suicide, of substance abuse as well, as we all have had a pretty good run with that. Realizing that's not the way to go. And obviously that's a big pitfall, and you're giving people a page of your own beats of where not to go down by doing the right thing. So I thought maybe you could share a little bit about your brotherhood, about what you're finding with people. You say they primarily come to you first for weight loss, but then they realize it's really not about weight loss. It's really about peace of mind. It's about confidence. It's about getting small wins. It's about being part of something bigger than yourselves, and sharing in that spoils of war. And then being able to share that with the people as you build successes, and then follow the program, and then be able to have that happiness and peace of mind find you.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. When I first started, I didn't think it was going to be this powerful. I just wanted to give men a program where they can get results. And what it's turned into is an actual brotherhood. We're the over 40 alpha, brotherhood. And so, like I said, every day someone posts in our Facebook group, in our Facebook support group, I'm off my depression pills. And it's not like they just went off it. The doctor took me off my depression pills. I no longer have anxiety. I'm no longer depressed. I'm starting new ventures. I have the confidence to do this. These are things that have nothing to do really with the body transformation. It's about the mind transformation and what happens when you live a healthy lifestyle. And it's unbelievable. I didn't realize that. But you did touch on something that I implemented very early in this brotherhood. It's because men don't like to share. Men are afraid to share. It's a society has put us in that, in that state of mind. If we are depressed, we kind of hide that as being tired. Oh, I'm just tired, or I don't want to really tell people that I'm depressed because it's going to be a sign of weakness. And I don't want to share this stuff because it's going to be a sign of weakness. And I'm supposed to be the man of the house. Absolutely, but not absolutely. In fact, you're supposed to be the person who, is able to share this stuff. We need to get this out. So I put the brotherhood together as a safe place, because everyone comes into the program in phase one. There's 24 phases. One phase is a month. Everyone comes in phase one. And so it doesn't matter if you're in phase one, phase 7, phase 10, phase 12 because everyone's going down the same journey. So someone in phase 12 can relate to someone in phase 1, can relate to what struggles they're going to. And so there's no one's better than anybody else. And because they're all from different parts of the world, it's unbelievable. We've pretty much in every country in the world almost. You get different people, different backgrounds, different religions, but because we're all in the same journey and because we're all brothers and we don't talk religion, we don't talk politics, we focus on becoming the best we can be, then it gives an open forum to share. I'm always telling people, hey, I want you to share. If you're having a bad day, if you're having a bad, week, come here and share because we're going to help you. We're going to support you. Sometimes you don't even want advice. You just want to get it out because my goal here is to create alpha men who, listen, we're put on this earth to procreate, to provide, and protect our families, our kingdoms, right? And if we are not in the best shape of our lives, if we're not in good health as we get older, we're in trouble because we are all going to be that patriarch, whether we want to or not. As we get older, it doesn't matter. Whether you want to or not, you're going to be grandpa. You're going to be, the father that people run to or want help when bad things happen or when crises happen. You have to be there. You have to be healthy. You have to be a role model. So in order to do that, we have to get healthy. And then we also have to get support, right? And that's what this brotherhood is. It's more, yes, we celebrate wins. We post our foods. We get help from each other. Everyone helps each other. And there's so many different types of people. Today it's so funny because there's so many different types of people, quirky people, loud people, people who just like to hide behind. But I tell them, listen, we need all different types of people in this brotherhood, in this family, because not everyone has to be the same. You're going to be loud guy. We know this guy's loud guy. We know that's what we're going to get out of him. We love him for that. But we are able to know that we're all on the same journey, all in the same journey. It's amazing.
I love that saying because I always had the saying that we're all the same different meeting together.
Right.
You're here to get something different together that I am. We're all at the same meeting, but it's a different meeting. We're all in the same storm. We're all in different boats.
Yeah,
that's what comes out. I love that you have that commonality of where you have that charisma where you're able to bring people together. And you've always had this. It's like a superpower gift for you as well, that you are just able to see commonality in people. And I struggled with this for years, and years where I just didn't accept people for who they were. And you were always just like, hey, listen, man, like 25 years ago, you were just like, yeah, listen, man, that's who he is. Believe him. You know what? Like, don't try and change him. Hardest way to do anything. Why are you doing that? And if I could go back and talk to myself in time right now, I would be sitting there with my hands on my hips, like going, what are you doing? And I would be like, what do you mean? Exactly. And the future self would be talking to my junior self, like, how many controllers do you have to break in Nintendo and Madden in Madden 98? Because Funk and I used to play, Madden 98 football on Nintendo. Yeah. And the craziest thing is, like, he would beat me with the same stupid play over and over again. Yeah. And I would just lose my shit. And yeah. I just had no ability to control my emotions, be able to process all that. And there came a couple times where, not my proudest moments, where the game stopped. And the games only stopped not because Funk didn't want to play with me or because I didn't want to play with Funk, but because I would take the controller and I would destroy it. I would throw it on the ground. I would stamp on it. I would moonwalk on top of it. I would taunt it and talk to the controller like, oh, you think that's funny? Yeah. Now who's laughing at your controller like that? And I would just look at you and I realized, like, in that moment, nothing had changed. And I would look at this moment where, like, I just went and processed all this negativity that I was carrying around as a negative anchor. And, you got the brunt of it. I just shit all over you. That was the impact. And then when I was done, I felt marginally better because I got it all out. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it didn't change my circumstances at all. In fact, it was even worse because we didn't have a controller. We couldn't play football anymore. And you're just like, well, I'm just going to go home now. And I'm just like, but okay. And you would have to go. But where I'm going with this is that's who we are as men. Like, we have this, inability to be able to process, what we deal with at work, what we deal with in our relationships, what we deal with in ourselves, in our self-loathing, and like who I was when I was in my 20s, and now I'm in my 40s, and I'm not anywhere near the person I thought I was going to be. And I know we don't talk about this at parties,
right?
But this is something that we need to talk about. This is good mental health that we're able to, bring this up and then be able to share that, because it opens up segues for other men to say, I thought I was the only person that felt that way.
Exactly.
And now 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 16, 32, 64. I can't do the math after that, but that's where we're at right there with that. And I mean, your program has been able to open that up for tens of thousands of people. And I wanted to ask you, how do the people get started?
Sure. So people get started by going to over40alpha.com. It's a $1 trial, and this is a membership site. So after the $1 trial, if you love it, which most people do because they lose 7 to 20 pounds in that first month, and I mean it's if you go to over40alpha.com/proof, you can see the proof of the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of men. But yeah, I mean, this is a program not just about giving you the tools, the workouts, follow along workouts. So all you do is click play, and I'm there to work out right beside you. They're follow along. So I'm coaching you through, making it very easy, joint friendly. Even if you're in your 30s, this works. We have a nutrition plan. The nutrition plan and nutrition system is super, super easy for you to follow, because I need to make it easy. Us men, we're not chefs. Most of us aren't chefs or food cooking friendly. So I want to make things very simple for you, so it's sustainable. It's a lifestyle. Then we talk about recovery and sleep. There's yoga. There's recovery tips. But first and foremost, it's all about the mindset, and that's where we tackle those coaching calls every single week, 10 a.m. We're live on a coaching call. Hundreds of guys, like Chuck just said, 2 hours. Last week's was 3 hours. And then not only that, in the Facebook group, not only are you going to get support of the other brothers who are on the same journey as you, or have gone down that same journey, but if you ask a question on the Facebook group, I'm going to be there to answer it, because we have what's called Ask Funk, which is a segment where I answer everyone's questions. So my goal is to help you along the way. A lot of times you can go to all these different programs and buy the program, and that's it. I mean, you're not going to get, maybe there's a Facebook group, but the person who sold you the program is never even in the Facebook group, or they may like, or they may share, and that's great. But for me, I'm results based. I over deliver. 24 months, like 2 years of workouts, 2 years of monthly workouts that will get you results. But here's the thing, it's results driven, right? It's results driven. You're going to lose weight. You're going to get fit. You're going to get a six pack, depending on how long you're in the program. I've had guys that are 300 pounds and now 185 pounds. It's Warwick, and has a six pack. It didn't take him 30 days. It took him a year, but he enjoyed that journey, right? You're gonna increase your testosterone levels 100%. And again, that's why I make you get your testosterone levels checked, so that you can try to prove me wrong, right? You will see that your T levels will go up. Your health will get better. If you're pre-diabetic, if you have blood pressure, if you're cholesterol, all of those things, all of those health issues that your doctors want to put you on prescription drugs, or someone wants, go become a vegan, or do this holistic thing. Nah, man. That's great for other people in their 30s and their 20s, women. As men over 40, 50, 60, 70, we have to train different, eat different, and our margin of error is very small. We can't eat the same way we did. We can't drink the same way we did. We can't work out the same way we did. But if we stay within this, and we follow a lifestyle that's sustainable and easy to follow and enjoyable, because you're going to see the wins as you go along. I'm telling you, it's life-changing. I see it every single day. I just got sorry, I know I'm going on a little bit, but I just got an email from someone today, or yesterday actually, who was behind the scenes, 4 months in the program. He just lives in Niagara Falls. I'm from here in Toronto. And, he lost 30 pounds, and he's like a shell of what he used to be in regards to his body, but all of the different things, his cholesterol, his blood pressure, all of these, he's pre-diabetic, no more pre-diabetes. That's only 4 months in the program. And him and his wife are, they just have new kids. So this is not even this is someone who has a 1 and a 2-year-old and is able to do this throughout. Because that's what I also want to ensure, that you can have a life and use this as a healthy lifestyle.
One of the things I'm left with is that all makes sense. Like, these are things that we should be doing. We should be eating better. We should be getting more sleep. We should be drinking less. We should be able to work out, 45 minutes a day. And we don't. As human beings, we're dealing with all the stress and anxieties of life getting in the way. And then when it comes down to it, we end up paying for it.
Yes.
Financially, we end up paying for it. We pay for it mentally, for sure. We pay for it physically, because then it translates on another ugly pound when we look in the mirror of who we thought we were once upon a time that we're not. What are you finding with why people don't choose a healthy lifestyle, even though we know it's good for us, even though we should make that choice, and yet we don't make that choice? What are you finding on why people are doing that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So everyone coming into the program has that same struggle, right? The first thing, I think, it's just an overload of information. First of all, it's not your fault. It is not your fault, because we do know that we should be doing this and working out and eating healthy. But there's so much information online now that we have access to the web that it's just overwhelming. Like, there's just too much. What workout should I do? How should I eat? What diet should I be? Do I do paleo? Do I do keto? Do I do this? Do I do South Beach? It is a lot of information to try to figure out. And then you do try a few things, you do try other things, and it just doesn't work. So that's the first thing that happens. And then you just end up, you know what, forget this, man. Then there's people who do get excited and get on a program, and they just start. And most times when people start, they focus on the workouts and a little bit on the nutrition, but you get by a program and the first thing is the workouts. Okay, cool. There are the workouts. Here's the kind of nutrition plan. I'll try to figure that out after. Let me get on the workouts. And then it's like having that new toy that, oh, this is pretty. This is great. And then, 2 weeks later, it's like, oh man, okay, I'm done with this. After 2 weeks, after the monotony, it gets, it just starts to get, boring and tough. Right. And yes, that pleasure pain principle. Exactly. Everyone wants that immediate gratification. Everyone wants, I want to lose 20 pounds in 30 days. And if I don't do it, then I'm going to stop. Or if I'm not losing weight the way I thought I was going to lose weight after week 2, then forget it. I can't do this. This is too tough. Other people put too many barriers in front. Oh, well, this program's a little bit, the excuses come out, right? Oh, well, I don't have time, or I have kids, or I have this, or I have that. So again, they know they should be doing it, but they're going to put all of these barriers in front so that they have a way out. But I think the biggest thing is definitely the knowledge and not knowing, because once you have that knowledge, once you have that knowledge of what you're supposed to do, then you have to dive into the why. Why do I want to lose weight? Why do I want to get better? Why do I want to improve my health? If you don't have that why, that strong reason, not I want to lose 5 pounds, not I want to lose 10 pounds, like something that's going to make you cry, Mike, maybe it's your kids, or there's something about your kid, or maybe you were bullied when you were younger and because you were overweight, or maybe, and every time you look in the mirror, it just brings those things back. Like maybe your parents have, diabetes or some type of disease. Like, it has to be so deep that on the days you want to not work out, on the days when Brenda comes into work with the donuts and says, come on, you have these donuts, Funk. That why is what's going to keep you going when you want to throw in the towel. And that's the first thing we tackle, because first of all, it's having that program that's designed specifically for men over 40. And now that you have that, now that you have the type of workouts, okay, great, I got this. Now you've got to have that why that you can touch on every time there's barriers, because there's always going to be barriers in life. Every day or every month or every week, there's going to be something that comes up, someone's birthday, someone's celebration, this is happening, COVID's happening. But that why is going to be super strong to keep you going when times are tough. And that's really what it is. Once you have the actual program, because you do need a program, a specific program, which is why I designed this for men over 40, then it's that why. And once you get that why, then, it's smooth sailing. Now, I shouldn't say smooth sailing. There's always going to be little hiccups, but that's where the support comes in. That's where the support comes in.
I love that you actually brought up the why, because that's the one thing that I keep coming back to. I think that's the one thing to me that, like, life is going to hit you in the face repeatedly. And if you don't think it's not going to happen that way, there was that one great scene in Rocky Balboa where he just says, life is going to hit you in the face, and it's not about how hard you can get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward, because that's how winning is done. And like, people don't realize that. I think they think that life should be easier, or they would want life to be easier, rather than developing the tools or the muscles or the mindset to tackle stronger problems. Like if a problem was a 5 out of 10 generically, and you had the capability of dealing with that problem at a 3 out of 10, that would be a significant problem.
Mm-hmm.
But if you had the problem capability of an 8 out of 10, that 5 out of 10 would just be a road bump. And when you're armed with a powerful why of why are you doing this? Like, who are you doing this for? You know, why is this important to you? What's the alternative if you fail? Like, you know, does your daughter walk down the aisle and you're not there to walk her down the aisle?
Totally.
That could be a really strong motivating factor. I've seen that why go by for people who get sober, where they've battled alcoholism their entire lives, and that why was I'm walking my daughter down that aisle, and she'll never ever not have me there to walk down that aisle as well. So what is your powerful why, and how did you come across it?
Well, so here's the thing. It's called value systems, right? So very early in my life, health and fitness was part of my value systems, right? That was really a value. And then, you know, so that you know, I was an athlete, right? And so that just was just something that I knew. But it wasn't really until I got married when I realized how important the value system of health is, how important that's going to be to drive my business, to drive my relationship with my wife, my relationship with my kids, my you know, the ability for me to make money. Everything for me, you know, stems from my value system of health and fitness. And in fact, our vows, my wife and I, we had vows in our wedding vows. It was about, we will never let each other get out of shape. That was our vows. We said it really funny at our wedding, something like, I can call you fat, or whatever it was. But truly and truly over these 9.5 years, that has been our number one thing. Nothing trumps our health and fitness. Nothing trumps that. And then everything else falls into place. But here's the thing. Not everyone values fitness. That's just what I fell into, right? That's just something that, you know, yes, I have a fitness business, but I know many guys who have fitness business who are in terrible shape. I know many personal trainers who are in terrible shape. So that's not my driving force. My driving force was my relationship with my wife and realizing how important that is. But like I said, some people the value systems are their work. Some people's value systems are their children. Some people's value systems are coaching, or, you know, they're coaching their little league. Some people's value systems are just hanging out with their buddies. Whatever your value system is, it will always come to your health, because if you're not healthy, if you're not at your best, if you don't have energy, then you're going to suffer at work. You're going to suffer with your business, because you know, you're always getting sick or whatever that is. Your relationship with your wife may go down the tubes, because listen, when you reach 40 or 50, my brother, and you're out of shape, and your wife's going to the gym and she's getting in shape because Pablo is there making her feel good, making her look good, it could be sayonara, man. It's hard to say, but it could be sayonara. You know what I mean? Like, your value systems, maybe your kids, maybe your coaching, whatever it is. If you're not in the best shape of your life, if you're not trying to stay healthy, then you can't reach the potential of that value system. You cannot. It's going to be very, very difficult. It's going to be a struggle, and it's not going to be a nice journey for you. So that's what my value systems are. It's just, it happens to be fitness and health, and that being number one. So it makes it easy for me to, I shouldn't say easy, because it's not easy. I don't get up every morning and go, I can't wait to work out. I don't get up every morning and say, oh, I'm going to shoot 5 workouts today. Most of the times I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. You think I wanted to do 52 burpees just now before we jumped on this call? No, but I had to do it because it's my 52nd birthday. So I have to do 52 burpees, period. End of story. Whether I want to or not, I did it.
Speaking of your 52nd birthday today, it's not all like content here about, you know, the hard stuff, the tough stuff. We want to try and keep this a little light.
Sure.
So what most people don't know about Funk Roberts is he was actually cartoon characterized. People don't know this. Yeah, it's really that weird. It's that odd. And like Jordan, our producer, actually was able to go online and find the cartoon that we're not going to share with you.
Okay.
And we're going to pull that up right now of Funk Roberts as a cartoon character. Oh my God, there he is. Oh my God,
baby.
Little Funkster right there with the baseball, and the big Funkster there with the cape. How did they actually characterize you like that? Like, when did you have hair? I don't know how that.
Yeah, that was back in the day, and that's Verb, and that was my thank you so much, Donna. That was my superhero back when I was younger, man. That's Schoolhouse Rock, and in fact, I don't know if you even have the picture of me dressed up as Verb.
We don't, but we actually have. Can we roll to tape on this one here? I don't know. Do we have that available for people to see right now? I'm not sure if this is how that works. It might show, but I'm not part of. Oh my God! There you are.
Right.
You know what? That's what's happening. That's what's happening, baby. Yeah, that's what it is. Get out of there. That's my seat. What are you doing? I'm getting some corn here. I'm watching my superhero. I'm getting in the mood. Like, I'm just creating stuff. This is me. Like, this is me. This is my ally on my left, the ally on my right. And now we're going to build up fences, just like what we do as men. You know, we're just walking away. Look at him. He's in the blocks. He look at him. Wow, this guy's a superhero. And now he's transformed into a funkster. And the funkster comes down and he says sleeping, and there he is. And there's his superhero. There's Funk Roberts in the flesh. There we go.
That's awesome, man.
Okay. Thanks, Jordan.
Thanks, Jordan. I appreciate that.
We thought we'd give you a little bit of a preamble for that as well. And we also do have a couple parting shots for you as well, because I know you have to get going to your 8 o'clock call. But we're going to actually go through a little This Is Your Life on your 52nd birthday today. Oh my God! Who is that good-looking guy in the middle there? That looks like Funk Roberts. That's it. And I look like I should be on a box next to James Gravel, you and me. That was our last year at Whitethorn Lodge in Pittsburgh.
Right. Yeah.
We went down and we won with a team that had no business winning.
That's right. I do remember that. That's.
Let's roll these pictures, Jordan. Let's keep this flow going.
Let's keep this.
So that was us. That was 2007, believe it or not, as well. So we're just going to kind of walk through a couple of these before you have to get going.
Sure. And if there's any questions that anyone wants me to answer too, I can quickly run through those 60-second answers for sure.
While we're doing this, why don't we tackle in? There's you, me, and John Morrison.
Yes, that was when I was, that was actually during one of my lowest parts of my life. Not because I was with YouTube, but I was drinking a lot, partying a lot, and I was about 215 plus pounds there. So that's a good picture to remind me of where I've come from since. So that's awesome.
While we're going through this, why don't we just tackle like age wise? If you're like Johnny Cavers had asked a question, if you're over 76, is your program enabled to help testosterone levels for guys pre-40 or over 60? Or the health benefits, can they do all that?
100%, man. We got Clifton who doubled his testosterone. He's like 66. He lost Clifton, when he came in, was also depressed, so he got rid of his depression, and he's got that six-pack. Clifton looks amazing. Maybe after this, you can take these guys through .com/proof, because that's going to show a whole bunch of different ages and what have you. But yeah, it doesn't matter if you're under 40 or over 60. This program is going to work for you. It is like, obviously if you're 70s and plus, you're going to have to go a little bit low impact, or depending on what your fitness level's at. But yes, 100%. It's all about the system, right? Of the nutrition, workouts, and recovery, which are the three biggest things that are going to help you with your T levels.
There we are at my Hockey Day in Canada event in my backyard in the Scarborough Bluffs. That's you whispering into my ear there.
Yes.
Osborne from Leafs TV beside us there, and the late Peter Zezel beside us as well.
Nice.
Jordan, if we can keep rolling these pictures as well. I want to get, there's a picture. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I just showed my wife that picture. Actually, that was at I had another picture like that.
This is 20 years ago, my friend. This is Dave Holmes there with the Funkster, Awad Ibrahimi, and Mike Chaluka in that picture.
Can't forget
little Anna.
Can't forget that one too.
Oh wow! Look at us without any clothes on. What were we doing being naked there? That's so weird. Look at this old picture.
Yes.
You want to get who are all these characters?
That's Marquise, who was Olympian. He won the bronze medal in beach volleyball. This is our Overkill Pro team. That's Mark Dunn. He also went to the Olympics. He also played on our indoor national team. Paul Husson, Jim Cook, and Paul Cox. So the six of us.
Best trash talking person I've ever seen in my entire life. Paul Cox, Jedi mind trick. Paul Cox.
Bringing me back, man. Bringing me back. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. And then so we're gonna have this picture here with you looking ripped as like Rippy Rippenstein.
There you go. That's a classic. Yeah, classic.
there's a picture of a bunch of kids against my back porch in my hockey rink there. And the reason I want to bring that up is because there's a character in that has grown exponentially, and we want to be able to show that to the funkster here on his birthday. Because I don't think he's actually going to recognize who he is, but if we can pull that up.
Sure.
It's like 4 or 5 kids in front of a Coca-Cola banner.
Oh, wow.
While Jordan's pulling that up right now, let me just get a couple more questions on this.
Yeah.
Donna McCarthy,
Let's get
comments. Yeah, that she says actually word for word what she said to you is a pleasure, pain principle, immediate gratification if you have wings and beer, instant pleasure. The workout of healthy lifestyles delaying pleasure takes commitment and focus.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely, Donna. I mean, you 100% you hit it. It's the instant gratification, but we should be focusing on the delayed gratification, and that's one of the things that I like to teach is like, okay, guys, listen, this is a journey. This is a marathon, not a sprint. I tell everyone that, and it's great because all the other brothers in the brotherhood can attest to it, and they can continue to support that. Hey, don't worry, it's gonna happen. This is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a lifestyle. So you're absolutely right. And on your question about intermittent fasting, I do like intermittent fasting. I do. It's not what I teach right off the bat. I usually bring that up after phase 3 or 4 because I want people to get the actual nutrition lifestyle. But yes, intermittent fasting is great. Specifically for men over 40. It's just you're going to do it a little bit different. You're always going to make sure that even when you break your fast, you're going to have healthy carbs, fats, proteins, vegetables, or fruits, depending on what that meal is. But yes, I do like it. But again, not before we teach the general testosterone-based diet.
One quick question, just to branding purposes. How did you come across the name Funk? Is what asked.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Sam. Yeah, I came. Funk's my name because so basically, my friend of mine used to own a club or a bar called Mono Loco, Awat Ibrahimi, and we would have these every Friday and Saturday would be open mic. So people would go in and they would sing and play the guitar, whatever. But at like 1 a.m. ish, 1:30 ish, I would get on the mic with either my little the drums or on the mic, and then I would just start riffing with people and freestyling and singing and just having a good time, making sure that everyone was having a good time. And at some point, a girl's like, "Bring on the funk, bring on the funk, bring on the funk," and then I just kind of like when I decided to create a fitness brand. I thought, oh, Funk Roberts that's a good brand, but it didn't stop there. When I brought that brand, I said, listen, I'm going to make sure that this brand is so strong that my mother calls me Funk, that my wife calls me Funk, that my kids I wasn't married then, but my kids call me Funk. That's how strong I wanted that brand. And that's literally what happens. Like my wife calls me Funk. My mom calls me Funk. My father just calls me, hey bro, what's up? My kid calls me Funk. Everyone does. So that it really, it's truly just another persona for me, but yeah, that's how it started. It just started in the basements of a restaurant.
I remember. It's funny how memories work because that was 15 years ago, and I remember on your birthday, I wrote you that birthday song. Sing "Happy Birthday" to you at Mono Loco.
That was beautiful.
Yeah, and you and I had that one epic rant back and forth where we went back and forth on the guitar. I think Paul Constantine, and we were freestyling about an experience that you and I shared, and I think you and I probably have 20 moments at least that we could share of where we were as well. Yeah. And I know you have to get going, and I know this is your birthday as well, but I want to try and create a little bit of more preamble about your special day as well, and just wishing you a happy birthday.
Thank you. Sure.
Thanking you for being on the show. Can you please, again, for the final people who have missed the start, just show people where they can go to get their lives back? Where they can find you online, where they can go to your website, where they can sign up if they choose to?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. You can go to over40alpha.com. That's for men over 40. And it's a $1 trial. It's just one place. That's it. That's where you want to go to change your life. But because you guys are on this call, and I see that there's a lot of people who took the time to be on this call, if you have a question, email me that question. funkroberts@gmail.com. I'm going to shoot a quick little video. Don't make the questions too long though for me, but I'm going to shoot a quick little video and answer that question for you. Just because I know that I have to go, but I know that there's a lot of questions in the private chat in the comments that I would really like to address because you guys took the time to come on here. So honestly and truly, send me an email, funkroberts@gmail.com. I will answer that. Give me the next few days to answer your question, but I really want to ensure that you guys get the most out of this this live. And I appreciate Chuck. I appreciate Jordan. I appreciate everybody being on this call. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I know. It's honestly, this has been years in the making as well of having you on the show as well. I'm just glad that we were able to do it on your birthday. Actually, this was not an accident. This is when I called you.
Oh.
It said, because I knew Monday was your birthday. So I was trying to keep that a little bit of a secret as well, just to let you know that I wasn't just like, oh, let's have Mark on the show.
Thank you.
Knowing full well that it was Monday, because I actually had a guest booked in. We moved her back to next week, so we're going to get Jane Elliott on the show next week that we bumped her from this week. Because I told Jane it was Funk Roberts' birthday today, and she's just like, well, then you have to have Funk on the show.
Oh,
I'm like, right? That's what we're going to do.
I want
to do that.
I want to leave you with one thing. I just want to leave you with one memory. If you do remember back in the day that every time we would see somebody, specifically a woman or a male, but mostly a woman, what did I used to say to you? I used to say, listen, we have to find one beautiful thing about this person. There's always something beautiful. Could be the hair, could be the feet. You guys would be like, oh my God. And I'd be like, no. This person's beautiful. We got to find that one thing. There's one thing. Person that's
100% you do that.
Always try to, because you were saying that before, I would always try to be positive about people. And that's just who I've been. That's who I am.
Yeah.
Like, there's always somebody beautiful and something beautiful in everybody. We just got to dig deep sometimes to find it. But yeah, man, I really appreciate being on this.
And to be fair as well, that's usually after a night of hard drinking as well back in the day. And we generally shouldn't have been that kind. And we found a way. And you're just like, guys, no. Like, I'm like, no, this is my time to pile on. Like, I'm going to bring all my misery in my life now to this one person in front of me. You're like, no, just find one great thing about this person. Like hair, man. She's got fantastic hair. Like, look, it's like a river. It just flows. It's amazing. It's just like, yeah. So, like I said, if I could go back in time and have a conversation with, Chuck back in the day, not that he would listen back then, but I think, the advice that you actually are sharing now with these guys now is not only transformative, it just makes good sense if you want to be a soul having a human experience. Absolutely. Like your body is a reflection of your happiness of your soul.
Yes.
Treat your body kindly. Whatever you put in your body, whether it be food, whether it be comments, whether it be belief systems, before you put anything in your body, check that first and say, is this part of my higher self? Is this something that benefits Funk Roberts? Is this something that benefits Chuck Bastie that would elevate me to another level where I can actually be happier? If I can be happier, then I will be kinder to people. If I can be kinder to people, I can give them more space. If I can give them more space, they can actually step into some vulnerable spaces and do their own work, which is the key there, because we land-base too much with judgment, which then comes back on people shutting down or repressing or being suppressed in their feelings, rather than creating space for people. And I love that you're doing this for the over 40 people. Yeah. Go.
Last thing. First, Barry, I love you, buddy. Thank you so much. But one last thing here, just to finalize. We all have something in our gut, in our heart, that is steering us along our journey throughout our lives. Okay. It's right here. Depending on what you believe in, you could call it whatever you are, but it's right here. This is what you always know will make the right decision for you every single day. Okay. So from now on, when something happens, take a little bit of time and listen to what this says, because this is going to tell you what you think you want to do or what you think is right. This is you being in control, but actually this is in control. That's why we always go, man, I should have listened to my gut. Oh, I had a gut feeling. That's because we don't act on what our gut is telling us. Even though we may not think it's the right thing, even though we may not think it's the right move, even though we may not think it's the right thing to say, take the extra 1 minute before you make a decision or before you say something and listen to what your gut is saying. And that's going to tell you what you need to do. You're going to want to go left. I want to go left. I want to go left. I know that if I go left, this is where I'm comfortable. Let me go left. The gut's saying, go right. And what you usually do is go left. But if you just listen to your gut and, okay, you know what? This time I'm going right. This is what this is saying. It's telling me to go right. And more amazing things are going to happen in your life because you listened to the gut. You no longer are going to say, ah, man, I had a gut feeling it was going to happen. Ah, I should have listened to my gut, man. It was telling me to go this way, and I freaking went this way. And guys, I'm telling you, men and women, I'm telling you, listen to what's in here, but also ensure that you get that physical health. Doesn't have to be everything at once. Start slow. Start eliminating the crappy foods. Start doing push-ups and sit-ups, 2 or 3 times a week. Just start getting that health in place, because that's going to help with the your mental struggles, mental health, and specifically because COVID is still here and we're still on lockdowns. This is the perfect time to get in the best shape, because you don't have any excuses. You ain't going anywhere.
Right? Well, you got shit to do. You don't got shit to do.
Oh, let's go, guys. Let's go. This is the time. 2021 is going to be your year. You just got to say, listen, I'm done making excuses. This is the time. I'm moving forward, as uncomfortable it is, as everything here is telling me to go one way. I'm doing this because I know it's going to be better for myself, for my family, for my wife, for my kids, for my grandchildren, for my community, and for myself. So guys, ladies, gentlemen, this is the day. April 12th, you are changing your life. You're changing your life. Email me at funkroberts@gmail.com and I'm going to help you. Let's go. Let's go.
And speaking of go, I'm going to let you go, because if I don't, you're going to badmouth me on your group call, like that Chuck Bastie's Mental Health Mondays. Man, he done took my time. He took my peace of mind, and I want to give freely to your following and to your funksters as well. So, Funk Roberts, always a pleasure. Thank you for being on the show. Best of love to you, man.
Best of love, guys. Thanks.
And happy birthday to you, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And that was Mark Funk Roberts, one of my all-time most charismatic calls that I'm going to say that every single time him and I have gotten together, like it's been a journey. And, Jordan, one of the things I want to bring you up with just before we close the show off here is when Mark was talking about going left or going right, you have a rudder in your life. And I want to kind of take his explanation of that and kind of give my personal experience on it, because I have what I call this Chucky doll in my shoulder. So there's good Chucky and there's bad Chucky. Bad Chucky is that doll that used to try and kill everybody in the movie Child's Play.
Yeah.
And Chucky just messes a whole lot of shit up. Like, he just wants to like pounce. He wants to throw napalm on stuff. And what he's trying to do is he's trying to protect me, adult Chucky, because, Chucky doll on my shoulder is 8 years old. And he's a traumatized kid, and all his job is to keep me protected. So I don't listen to Chucky doll on my shoulder anymore. I mean, that's what my brain is telling me to do. And I know full well that ends in a whole lot of shit. So my higher self, now what Funk was talking about, is right here, where you hold your essence or your soul or your being or whatever you want to say that is. This is where kindness comes from. This is where it gives you space. This is where it doesn't judge you. This is where it doesn't, make you down or demean you in your human experience of what you haven't done or what you are dreaming at nighttime before you go to sleep. Your head should hit that pillow. In 2 minutes you should be asleep. But yet we have this hamster wheel that's spinning around in our head that stops us from, just before you want to go to bed, that Chucky doll wants to come out and play. Hey, today was a pretty shitty day. You didn't get what you wanted to get done, and look where you're at. And tomorrow you're going to have to wake up and do all this stuff. And he will keep my mind preoccupied about everything that I haven't accomplished in my day, in my month, in me being a father or a partner or whatever that is. So just to play on what Funk is saying, when you get to that point, that voice is meaningless. That voice has been there to protect you from getting hurt. And now I just say, whatever you resist persists. So I could fight with Chucky on my shoulder, or I could just say, it's okay, Chucky. I understand you're upset. I understand this is threatening to you. I appreciate your support. I got this. We're going to be okay. And then Chucky just now subsides now. Now, that didn't happen overnight. That took some time to actually create that muscle, to have that conversation, because now Chucky just goes away now. So he's like, oh, okay, so you got this, bro? I'm like, yeah, dude, honestly, thank you so much. You're always great at noticing really bad patterns and calling people names and what we should be doing to them and stuff like that too. But we don't need to do that anymore, dude. I got a new set of skills now. I got a new set of tools in the toolbox. We're going to use these things. Really appreciate your input, buddy. Thanks a lot for having my back. And then he just goes away. And just like what Funk says, now you're able to flow down another pathway that is going to be more profitable for you as a person, as a human being. You'll have more physical wellness. You'll have more spiritual wellness. You'll have more mental wellness inside of that too. So that was what I wanted to sum up the end of the show with. I'm curious, Jordan, what did you think of Funk Roberts?
It was definitely interesting. I mean, I definitely learned a lot sitting in the back here. He's a really passionate guy, a really great speaker. So he was very fun to listen to, and it was definitely informative for me.
Yeah, can we just throw up the link one more time for the viewers? Just in the end, if you want to go to, I mean, it's $1, people. It's COVID right now. Like, if this wasn't a thing where we got them on board and said, hey, listen, how can we make this more, accessible for you? Go to over40alpha.com. Yeah, it costs $1 to sign up. You will get so much information that you're not going to have to sort out. He spent decades of doing his due diligence to find the shortcuts for you, to give you the tools to get onto his program. And what do I want out of this? I want you to actually feel better. I want you to actually step into what your physical health and wellness is going to be like, because if you don't have physical wellness, you're certainly not going to have mental wellness. Those are two absolutely co-related conditions and traits that we actually have. So get your physical wellness. Back in the fall, I cut sugar and white carbs and flour out of my diet. And that came down to just changing my entire life. My inflammation went away. I feel fantastic that way. And I never ever want to go back to that again. So go to over40alpha.com, sign up for Funk's program. And and I want to thank you for your comments on the show as well. I mean, there's too many to get to. We'll try and go back afterwards and finish all those up. But then, thanks a lot for the support. And he's been a fantastic guest and a friend for 30 years. And I'm just glad we had him on.
Yeah, no, again, just when someone's passionate about something, it's much, you take a lot more in, and he obviously he knows what he's doing, but he loves it clearly, which makes a huge difference from someone on the receiving end.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that will ever stop me from saying Mark Funk Roberts is one of the most passionate human beings you're ever going to come across. He was the most entertaining guy to ever watch on a court. And even in his forums, like he holds court and he holds space for people, and I love him as well. Really excited next week to have Jane Elliott on the show. Jane Elliott, if you Google her, you'll find she's been on Oprah Winfrey. She has been on Dr. Phil. She's been on Dr. Oz. She's been on Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith's Red Table Talk. She spent 53 years talking about racism in America and white privilege. She has been a school teacher. And I'm overjoyed of having Jane Elliott. She's by far my most favorite guest that we're going to have on Mental Health Monday next week, April the 19th at 7 o'clock. Please tune into that. And if you know people who like Jane Elliott, feel free to share that as well. So we will see you next week. And Jordan, thanks a lot for your help.
No worries. Have a good night, everyone.